Or can you hear me? Oh, good.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello, David. Hello, David.
Hi, it's David here. Is that Fan?
Yeah, I'm Chung.
Chung, right, Chung.
Yes.
Hello, Chung. How are you today?
Today I'm fine.
Good. You can hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you.
That's great. That's good. And Abdurrahim, can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good, Abdurrahim. I'm glad you can see me and you can hear me. Today, the lesson, this session is about law, and we're going to listen to a recording of somebody talking about trial by jury. And we're going to practice the language. And by the end of the session, you should be able to talk about the law and about trial by jury. Okay, so Chung.
Yes.
My question for both of you before we begin is: have you ever been in court? Have you ever been in court?
No.
No, you've never been in court, Chung.
No, I never.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. What about you, Abdurrahim? Have you ever been in court? Have you ever been in court? For any reason? Maybe when you're not talking, you could mute your microphone. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to listen to the recording about the court. I'm going to share my screen with you. And our material today is about trial by jury. And Chung, can you tell me, you know what happens in a trial by jury?
My gosh. Abraham? Teacher, you can mute your mic up, Abraham. You can mute. Yes.
I did. What happens in trial by jury?
Jury. I don't know. Can you explain to me?
A trial by jury is when the person, whether they're guilty or innocent, is decided by a vote of 12 people. So these people listen to the case. They listen to the prosecution, they listen to the defense, and then they vote to decide innocent or guilty. And these guys are called the jury. In Chung, in Vietnam, do you have juries sometimes?
Juries?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me choose. Yes, it helps.
Okay, that's good. A jury is this.
Jury.
It's a group of people who decide whether somebody is guilty or innocent.
Yes.
Okay. Abdurrahim, do you have trial by jury where you live? Abdurrahim, do you have trial by jury where you live?
I think he not focused on our lesson. Yes.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay. Let's give him one more chance. Abdurrahim, do you have trial by jury where you live? Okay.
I think
That's right.
yes, correct.
Okay, and now we'll listen to the recording.
Following the closing arguments, the judge charges the jury or informs them of the appropriate law and of what they must do to reach a verdict. In other words, it is the jury's job to sort through disputed accounts presented in evidence by the prosecution and defense in order to decide if the defendant is guilty or not guilty of the crime he or she is charged with.
Okay, so Chung,
Yes.
what do you think of this idea? Is this a good idea or a bad idea?
I think I need to some. Can you explain the story, because I'm not understand this story talk about.
Okay, so first of all, you have the court case, and the prosecution explain why they think someone is guilty, and then the defense say why they think he is innocent. So you have two sides, the prosecution and the defense. And then at the end, these guys in the jury, they vote, and they say, we agree with the prosecution, he's guilty, or we agree with the defense, he's innocent or she's innocent. It's a system that's used in criminal trials. Somebody's accused of theft, violence, fraud, things like that. It's a very old system that goes back hundreds of years. Some people think it's a bad thing because the jury are just ordinary people like you and me. They're not lawyers, they're not judges, they're not experts. Okay? So
Yes.
the closing arguments.
Closing arguments.
Each side gets a chance to say something. So, Chung, what are the two sides? Two sides in a court case. How would you describe them?
Each side gets a lot
You have
cost pay when each side gets one less chance to say something. I think two sides is the people is make the mistake and the people catch the mistake.
Yeah, the prosecution is one side, the defense is the other side. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And the judge, he's the guy. What's the judge? Can you think of another word for a judge?
Chose. I don't know this word.
He's the guy in charge. He's the boss.
It's boss in a chair.
In the court.
In the court. Yeah.
The man in charge is called the judge.
Yes.
And this expression just means to tell. He tells the jury.
Yeah.
This is an old-fashioned word. He tells the jury.
Informs.
Inform. It's telling.
It's an official way of telling somebody.
Yes.
And then he talks about the law.
Appropriate.
Whoops.
Appropriate.
Appropriate.
So, for example, in juries are used for criminal trials, where somebody's accused of being a criminal. So this will be the law of whatever the crime was. The law about violence, the law about theft, etc. And Abdurrahim, oops. Abdurrahim, can you tell me what this, if they're reaching a verdict, will they say we don't know, or will they say he's innocent or he's guilty? What does it mean to reach a verdict? What do you think, Chung, to reach a verdict? Hello?
Hello.
Chung, what do you think it means to reach a verdict?
Not to reach a verdict.
Does that mean we are going to go home, or we're going to say he's innocent, or we're going to say we don't know? What do they do when they reach a verdict?
I don't understand. Reach arrive after decisions.
Reach.
To make a decision, isn't it?
Decision. And verdict.
It means to, and the verdict.
Verdict.
What's official decision in the court law about
verdict?
Whether someone is guilty or how someone died.
It's the court's decision. Is that if you go to court and they say you're innocent, then the verdict is, what's the verdict? The verdict is innocent, yeah, not guilty. If you go to court and they reach a verdict of guilty, then they think you've committed they think you're guilty. You've committed the crime. Okay, so this is what the jury does.
Sort.
Source.
It means take a look at, examine. Can you think of another word for sort, Jung? A synonym, another word for the same thing.
Suggest.
Suggest.
Or looking carefully.
Yeah, exactly. To look at very carefully. Yes, precisely. Well done. What about if something is disputed? Does that mean everybody agrees, or some people don't agree?
If you take I think agrees.
Disputed.
Disagree.
It means that they are asking questions. They're saying maybe this is right, maybe this is wrong.
Yeah.
They don't understand completely. Okay. So when you have a court case, if you want to show that somebody is innocent or somebody is guilty, you have to produce this here. You have to produce evidence.
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 Can you think of what other word can you think of for evidence?
Evidence is I think make something clearly.
To show something very clearly, yes, yeah. It's information that you want the court to believe. Can you give me what do you think could be evidence? Could it be things or people or documents? What could be evidence?
I think evidence, like for example, When people kill someone and they use like a knife, and in the knife it have a lock.
A blood, yes.
Yeah, and the police will check the block with the
blood.
who is belong to, and they can check the knife with the fingerprint in the knife to make sure this person is a killer.
That's exactly right. That's evidence.
Yes.
So then the fingerprints would be the evidence. Exactly. Very good. What about the prosecution? What's the opposite? The opposite of the prosecution? Abdurrahim, can you hear? What would be the opposite of the prosecution? Chung, what do you think? What's the opposite of the prosecution?
Prosecution.
You have the prosecution on one side, and on the other side you have the.
Can you read this word, because I don't understand.
Prosecution.
Lawyers working for a government who try to rule in the cause of law that someone is guilty of the criminal.
Of the crime, yes. So they're the people who are saying, with the prosecution have evidence like the knife, the fingerprints, the witnesses, all the other evidence. And then the opposite of the prosecution are these guys here.
Yeah.
They might say, well, look, these fingerprints are different. These are not the same fingerprints. Maybe it's wrong. So the defense would dispute the evidence. They say, are you sure? Maybe there's a mistake. Yeah? Okay, and what about this guy here? Who's the defendant? Abdurrahim, can you tell us?
Defendant.
The defendant would be.
The people is wrong.
The person
is wrong. Yeah.
Who is the person who is accused of doing wrong? Yes, exactly. So if you have.
Guilty.
If the police arrest somebody for stealing a car, who would be the defendant in the court case? What do you think, Chung? If the police arrest somebody for stealing a car, who would be the defendant in the court case?
Sorry, can you repeat, teacher?
If the police arrest somebody for stealing a car,
yes,
who would be the defendant? The defendant in the court case.
Dependent.
The defendant.
Defendant.
I think.
If the police arrest me for stealing a car,
yeah,
I would be the defendant.
Yes.
They say he stole the car.
You are a defendant.
I'm the defendant because I'm the person who's accused. Accused of stealing. Accused of the crime, right?
Yes.
So what happens if the jury say he's innocent? Would he be guilty or not guilty?
Guilty or not guilty, it means if you're wrong, you have to you must to do that when you're wrong.
If guilty means you're wrong.
Yes, and you have to pursue responsibility for something with your work.
with the court, yes. If you're guilty, then the jury will say, we think he's guilty. Or if they think he's innocent, what would the jury say?
Guilty or not guilty?
Exactly. So guilty is innocent. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Guilty means you committed the crime. Not guilty means innocent, yeah? Innocent and guilty, sorry, innocent and not guilty mean the same thing. Okay, what about a crime? Can you give me an example of a crime? Abdurrahim, can you tell us what kind of crimes do people commit? All right, Chung, can you give me an example of a crime?
A frame is like a robber.
It's like
a robber, a killer,
murder,
yes,
murder, theft, stealing. What about robbery? Yes.
Robbery, yes.
Yeah, robbery is the name of the crime is robbery. Okay, and then what about what is
Charged.
So this is when the police say, okay, we think this guy is guilty, we're going to charge him. And then when you're charged, you go to court. So first the police charge you and they say, okay, David, you've committed this crime, you stole the car, we're going to take you to court. And then in the court, the jury can decide. So what I'd like you to do is to think, is this a good idea? Because the jury are not lawyers, they're not judges. So could you think, when would it be a good idea to have a jury? And when might not be such a good idea? For example, in a court case that was very complicated, it might be too difficult for a jury. Maybe the court case takes 2 months and it's very difficult to understand. And maybe the jury is not such a good idea. What do you think, Chung?
Think about what, teacher?
Whether the jury, having a trial by jury, is it a good idea for every case? Do you think it's a good idea to have a trial by jury, Chung?
It's a good idea for.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I think with the cost, I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad thing.
A bad thing, okay.
Yes.
And why do you think that?
Because I think if we have problem and we in the jury, and I think with the law, I don't like it, and it make me make the time for know who is right or wrong, and I think it's everybody when they are in court, they feel tired.
They feel tired?
Yes.
You mean like stressed?
Yeah, stressed.
They're stressed, yes. That's probably right. Yes, very stressed.
Yes. And I'm sorry because in this topic, it's not my favorite because it's a new topic, and
It's a new topic.
It's difficult to me about the law, and
you're right. It's very complicated.
yes,
There's a lot of vocabulary, closing arguments, charges, verdict. There's some technical language.
yes.
Are you interested in the law, Chung?
Yes, I interested in law, but I just interested in the business law.
Right, commercial law, right?
Yeah, commercial
Business.
law, and
Yes.
with I think the what is called law in teacher? What a kind of law in this situation?
Criminal law.
Yes, in the criminal law, I don't like it because it's it make me feel worry in our lives when we have happens to me. Yes.
So you think that if you went to a trial when there was a jury, you would be worried that the jury would make the wrong decision.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. There have been some very famous cases when that exactly what happened. The jury made the wrong decision. Yeah, it's true. But do you think there's any advantages? Are there any good things about the jury system?
Sorry.
Is there anything good? Is there anything good about this idea?
I think it's a good idea because in this story, in this conversation, in this story, is a guy here with something in the law. Yes, I think it's useful. Yeah. It's useful for our lives.
And do you think it's quite a democratic idea? Do you think it's democratic?
Sorry, teacher?
It's one thing that people say about the jury system is that it's democratic.
Democratic.
Democratic, yes. Because these people are just ordinary citizens. They're not experts. They're not judges. Presumably they're independent.
Yeah.
Some people like the system because they say it's democratic. Other people dislike the system because they say it's too difficult for people.
Yeah.
And how many people do you think there are in a jury? How many people?
In this lesson, it talk about 12 people.
12 people, exactly. That's right. 12, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the famous.
Because I know in lesson, but in Vietnam, I don't know how much, but in this lesson, I just know it's 12 person. Yeah.
Do you have juries in Vietnam?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. Okay.
Yes.
It's possible. I think it's quite an old. Really, the jury system is very old, and most modern countries don't have juries. I think juries are in Britain and the United States, and that's about it. I don't know actually. Anyway, well, I think I agree with you. On the whole, I prefer a judge because the judge is an expert. Abdurrahim, what do you think? He's still there, but I hope he can hear. See what he says. Yeah. I hope you can hear. I hope you can hear Abdurrahim. Okay. Well, Chung, next time I see your name, I'll pick something to do with commercial law. And I think you can now understand the jury system and some of this vocabulary very well. And maybe after the lesson, you could complete this task. I think it's got some quite useful activities. that you could complete after the lesson.
Yes.
Okay, Chung. Well, I hope to meet you again.
Yes, which is not true about the jury's instruction.
What do you think?
I think the law give instruction on how the juries should deliberate.
Deliberate, yes. The lawyers give instructions on how the jury should deliberate. Yeah, you're right. Well done. Anyway, we've come to the end of the lesson.
Which of the following must the juries do? I think consider the evidence.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Which of the following is closest in meaning
Closest.
the deliberation?
Deliberations, yeah.
Deliberation.
Deliberations. It's a difficult word.
And I think long and carefully consideration.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Well, see, you can stop sharing my screen. Okay. Hi, Chung. I can see you now.
Yes.
Next time, I'll see if I can find a class for commercial law.
Yeah.
Okay?
I hope that.
Okay. Well, have a good day, and I hope to meet you again.
Yes. Nice to see you again, teacher.
Nice to see you again. Goodbye.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Abdurrahim. Goodbye.